Hello, everyone, and welcome to At Home Arcade. My name is Paul. Join me and my friends, Alex and Patrick, as we discuss our week in gaming.
Hey, everyone. So it's been a week. What have you guys been up to this week?
Not too much. So, funny enough, I've got Patrick here on the East Coast with me.
Hello.
Yeah, same room for the first time in a long time. And so we've kind of just been piled up on the couch playing different things. We played a little bit of Slime Rancher 2.
And using Wii, pretty royal there. I've watched Alex play a couple things on the couch.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
You were.
I was spectating.
It's like when you hand the kid the controller, but it's not
plugged in. Yeah. No, I was the live studio audience.
That's what I did with him. I gave him a controller and he pretended to play.
Yeah.
So we were playing Slime Rancher 2, and it's pretty interesting. What I didn't know is that it's in game preview, actually. It's not a full release, which means it doesn't have achievements, which means that, of course, it didn't catch my attention for very long. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure you already know this, Paul, but Alex is an achievement whore.
I can't.
So he'll download the smallest games just to get the achievements if they're easy.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
He
loves the cookie.
It's my Achilles heel.
It's like, here, trade deal. I give you 3 hours. You give me 6,000 gamer score.
1,000 gamer score.
And it's a deal every time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started to play that. The lady I live with says that she called it Luigi's Mansion with slimes instead of ghosts, which is a great way to put it. You've got a little slime backpack. You suck up the slimes. You put them in your farm, kind of raise them, give them food. You can kind of breed them in a weird roundabout way. They give you little gems after you feed them. They kind of like poop them out, which is interesting. You sell them, you get money, you build more. That's about as far as I got, really.
I had a question about Slime Rancher. So do you just show up one day and you have a vacuum and you're like, these gelatin things, I'm going to put you in there? Right. No, I understand like the premise of like
yeah.
But how do you what's the first thing you do?
So in the second one you're playing is the same as the first.
Okay.
The same character as the first girl, but kind of explored the whole island there, and you're relaxing, and now you go to a new terrain. But it's like I said from the first one. I was talking about it last week. It's very, very not tutorial heavy. This one isn't either. There was a bit of a tutorial, but it kind of leaves you to go explore the world, go do your thing, figure out what's going on. But the whole thing is you're dropped in here, and you're almost. It feels like you're almost like a researcher, like researching these things. But from what I've seen, there's no way to actually really research into them. You just collect their poop and sell it.
So, okay.
They poop when you feed them, and they're gems, and you can sell them in the stock market. Like this black market. The stock market. It's like a black market of slime poo.
I'm bullish on slime poo, actually. Slime coin. Okay, so if I'm reading you correctly, or hearing you correctly, I should say, you are on an island.
Yes.
You detain these slime in a vacuum, put them in a cage, feed them, and then sell their shit. Right? And that's the whole purpose, is to collect them all?
Yeah.
Okay. So
you are a slime rancher.
An ecosystem.
Destroying the natural habitat has been disrupted. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So we played a little bit of that. We played what was it? Deathloop?
Oh yeah,
Deathloop, because that came on the Game Pass. That was fun. I think we played probably an hour. Not the multiplayer. Just again, Patrick had a controller that wasn't plugged in.
Right.
But I had a beer, which is more.
So, what did you think of that? Because I know you were excited for it last week.
Yeah, it was an interesting idea. You play as this character and you have no memory of what happens, but you're in this time loop, right? When you die, there's an interesting gimmick where you can die 3 times after the little tutorial. You can die 3 times, and on that third death, you have to completely start the level over again. which is neat. It gives you a little bit of a safety net there. And when you walk into a room and you get fucked up, then you can, when you die, hey, I'm not going to go through that door. I'm going to go around it. There's a ton of different hidden messages as you're walking around. They give you hints, and it says, hey, maybe don't explore over here. And that's your past time loop character giving you current information to this time loop character. So it is really neat, the concept of it. And I definitely look forward to playing more. And other than that, we've just been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Still in that. That's
nice.
I think I have 60 hours in the game now.
Right.
Because I'm trying to do literally everything.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get like all the collectibles, all
the
the
achievements, most importantly.
All the achievements is the most important thing. I am on a mission by the end of February 2023. I want to have 100% of all the Assassin's Creeds beaten and all the achievements. And that's my personal goal.
Sounds like
that is a goal.
Yeah, but I've already done it for 2, so I don't have any more feathers to collect.
I guess that's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Paul?
I unfortunately haven't gotten to play a ton, but
so only with yourself.
Yeah, usually I do love single player games, but I got about an hour and a half of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
I'm enjoying it. I picked up DLC.
Yes.
So the issue that I had is
because I also got DLC.
Well, yes, I know our DLC, comrade. But I'm not very far in. I just completed there was a trade route mission where you had to like clear the way. I did that, but
that is the DLC.
Oh, see,
be very careful.
That runs into my other issue. Yeah. I lost a bunch of time because I was like, oh, I need to go do this mission. It says it's at camp. Nope. Turns out it was a DLC thing. And, once I figured it out, I was like, oh, okay, so I just wasted a bunch of time.
Well, so I only know that because they did cleverly name the missions, the DLC. So it does say like Legend of, I think it's called like Legend of Beowulf or something. And that's the name of the mission too. So I know for 200% sure to stay away from that. While Patrick was on the couch egging me to go to Ireland, I was like, no, because I know that's the DLC.
No, you have to.
No.
If there's a land, you have to go.
Nope.
I mean, I kind of agree. Like, who doesn't want to go to Ireland? But
I was going to say probably the Queen, but she's gone now.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not too soon.
I did get. No, you're good. I did get to play a really fun side mission. I'm not sure if it was main game or what. Okay. But I got to do a mission where I rescued a wolf, and I gave it the coolest name ever, in my opinion.
Did you name it Bayo?
No, that would have been good.
Did you name it where?
No. Dog Wolfa. Dog Wolfa.
Yeah, where the kids take you to the one kid lures you from the longboat hall and says, "Hey, come help," and you go out there and they want you to free the wolf, and you're like, "This is a bad idea," but you do it anyways. And it's a good wolf. Yeah.
I will say it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out where to go to free the wolf. I kept trying to break into the well. I thought it was trapped down there.
Yeah, spam the right stick push and it'll give you key locations. That's what I do. I just spam it. It's like, what was it? Batman Arkham Asylum, where you go into that like detective mode, right? Except this is only a little bit of time. And I just spam that and it gives you the locations.
They really stole it from like the Daredevil movie, like the early 2000s one, He would like make a sound and then it would like flash the room.
Oh, the like sonar vision thing?
Yeah, the sonar vision.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of that for me. In clarification, what'd you name the dog?
Dog Wolfa.
Dog Wolfa. That's what I named mine too.
Yeah, it's best name.
It gives you like 3 options to choose from.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how'd you pull that out of it?
How did you
I'm like,
manage?
how's that the best
That's
game?
convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the children recommended it because they were like, it's part dog, part wolf, dog wolfa. And I was like, yes.
So the thing that I really like about Assassin's Creed Valhalla is, so they went to the RPG style, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But the power level that you are, while it does matter and it makes life so much easier, I think I was power level 70 and I fought, there are like legendary beasts throughout the land, and I fought 3 legendary beast wolves that were all power level 160. So more than double my power level, and I still managed to kill the 3 of them. It sucked and it was very difficult, but I did manage to kill it. So the game rewards you for being a higher level, but it doesn't punish you for doing things at a lower level, which I do really appreciate. It just makes it harder, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a nice challenge.
Yeah, that's the thing that trips me up is like, I think I'm like power level 70 or something like that. And I look at the quests and they're all like 100, 90, 250. So
You get there so quick. I was power level 70, I think 2 days ago, and just going through the various main missions and side quests along the way and finding the treasures, I think I'm 120 now. So
Okay.
it goes very quick. And unlike most traditional RPGs, where from level 1 to level 2 is 100 XP. From level 2 to 3 is 200 XP. From 3 to 4 is 400 XP, right? It incrementally gets bigger. Valhalla doesn't seem to do that, at least not that I've noticed. It seems like a fair amount of XP from level to level, and you get a fair amount of XP from doing the quest. So it never feels like a grind. It just feels like, there was one time I had 10 points to spend. I was like, oh, crap, I should probably spend those.
Okay, fair enough.
It does not feel like a grind, which is what I like about it too.
Yeah, and that's fair because the older ones have felt like grinds to me. So
Assassin's Creed 1.
I mean, yeah, I can be. I didn't notice it. I love the story, but I'm anxious to get into it more. Hopefully, I have some more time this week because I'll tell you right now, time is just flying by. Like seriously, we're almost in October, like spooky season.
Spoopy season.
Right.
Spoopy season, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a P, not a K.
Fair enough. But that does like bring up something I've wanted to ask you guys about.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, what is your favorite game featuring zombies?
Zombie game.
Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot. Thank you.
Very good question. There's only one answer.
Okay. I agree.
Black Ops, zombies.
Interesting.
It has everything. One, it has good shooting, right? Call of Duty. It's a decent horde mode. I think that was at like the peak of horde modes too, because like Gears of War was still popular when that first one came out, and everybody needed a horde mode. It's right after they perfected it. So I think the first one was World at War for zombies, and Black Ops 1 was the first real iteration where they fleshed it out. And playing zombies on Kino, Der Toten, I don't really think you can beat that. It has Easter eggs. It rewards you for being able to get high rounds. Has cool traps. Has some bugs in the beginning. And I just think it's all good times. It's really, really hard to beat as far as a zombie mode. And it's funny because that's not even the main game, right? Mm-hmm. It's just the horde mode in the game, but it's so good. It beats some other standalone, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, it was so good. They did what was it? The zombie pack for
Zombie Chronicles, wasn't it?
The Zombie Chronicles. Yes. I think you have to have Black Ops 3 in order to play it, but it's just a compilation of all the maps. And if I remember correctly, Black Ops 3 zombies, in Black Ops 3, they started remastering the zombies. So they redid, I know one for sure that they redid was Call of the Dead, because that was my favorite map. Best map of all time. Can't
Same though, I think.
It just, I really liked the movie theater, or the movie theater, the movie characters. What, Robert Englund,
Sarah Michelle Gellar, I think.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. You had Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
You had one more. I can't remember.
I think so. My only issue with that was how large the map was.
That's what made it good.
I don't know. I think they were trying to do too much. I think it was pretty polished and like a fun map to play, but it was also like intimidating at some points. I like kind of the I don't know, the size of Kino, and I think they really got way out of hand. Like I remember, I don't know which Call of Duty it was, but with a bus.
Transit.
Transit. Black Ops 2.
Transit.
Hated it.
My God.
So I heard rumor that what they were trying to do with Transit was that was going to be the base, and the DLCs were going to expand where the bus went to different areas, which would have been a cool thought, because Transit was the first time that you could take the points that you got and put them in a bank, and you could withdraw them on a later game.
Right.
So that was it was an interesting concept, but it fell short.
Right. No, and I agree with that. Like the farm, you would never stop there. You stop at the farm, like the barn or whatever, you die. Mm-hmm. That's where you like drop your buddy off, and you're like, who was annoying you the whole night. Be like, oh yeah, we're going to the farm. And then you just stay on the bus.
I think one of the reasons that map fell through was it, at least when Paul and I used to play back in the day. Let's take Call of the Dead, for example. We never stayed in the same area. Everybody always split off into different parts of the map, right? Mm-hmm. I was at the bottom of the lighthouse for, I don't know why. That was just my favorite place. I felt like I had so much room. I think Paul took the main area, right?
Yep.
And then our friend Julio took another side area where there was
the side of the lighthouse.
Snow, the side of the lighthouse. Like if I opened the bottom of the lighthouse, I could literally see him. So I always had to keep that shut. Otherwise, I would funnel his zombies in, and I'd get fucked. So I don't know if anybody plays where they have their whole team together. Transit seemed to force that, because I noticed that for me, as soon as we split off from our group, that's when people started going down and getting overwhelmed. It seemed like, to your point, that farmhouse, right? Mm-hmm. It just wasn't survivable. It was very difficult to survive alone on Transit, is what I felt.
That, and I think a part of it is like, because big shocker, I know, I tend to not be great at these games, so I would go down a lot. At least with the other maps like Call of the Dead and whatnot, you weren't far enough away from your teammates that it's like, I can come get you. Probably. Like Transit, it was like, no, you're in a completely different location. I've got to wait for the bus. Like, it's not happening. You went down, you're dead. Doesn't matter how good you are.
Mm-hmm. In Transit, you literally have to fucking take a bus.
Yeah.
Like, Kino, you have to just walk into the other room. It's not like, sorry, bud, you're 3 miles away and the bus doesn't come yet,
Right.
And that's why I said I think they were trying to force players to stay together rather than split apart, because the whole strategy to splitting apart is, if you have 3 people all playing together on the map and you split apart, theoretically, each player should get 1/3 of the zombies, and you're not as surrounded and as overwhelmed. But Transit, it felt like they were trying to kill that and make it more cooperative. Everybody stays in the same area.
Mm-hmm. And I think they got better over time, right? So they wanted the maps to be really big, and then they were too big, and then and the thing that I liked is that if you could manage it, you could keep all the windows closed-ish in like Kino, right? And they moved away from that design philosophy where they just had like open walls or bridges or something for zombies to continuously climb through. So it doesn't reward anyone for being proactive. Like, why would you even board up a window in later rounds? Like you wouldn't, because there's no benefit to it, because you're just going to get smacked by a zombie that walks up from like 3 feet away anyway. So that's what I didn't like about it. But I do feel like they got better, because we all played the Cold War. zombies. I forget what that map was, and they had like a beginning area, and you take a portal and go through, and you just go to a second big area, right? And then they had it separated, and you could stay in the small area if you wanted to. Kind of hard.
Oh wait, you're talking about the second map?
Yeah, that's the second map.
Yeah. So the first map was
what
was it?
They redid it. Yeah,
Nocturne
and Totem, something like that.
Right.
They did that, but they expanded and they showed you what was outside of there as well.
Yeah, I like that.
The second one had the portal that you're basically on that one little area, and there was a guy, and he's like, "Get away from me!" And there was a portal that you could go through to a much larger section where it was sectioned off. I think like 3 or 4 ways.
Yeah,
and that led out to much bigger areas. But yeah, but that map, to me, I don't know if actually square footage wise it's smaller, but it felt smaller than some of the maps. Like, what was we played the Titanic one for Black Ops 4.
It was sunken or something like that.
For sure it felt smaller than that one. That one was
you get lost on that boat
every time.
So much. Yeah. But I think the big issue was for that one from Cold War. It just didn't feel like there were many viable places to like hang out.
For the first map, what was it? Nostratoten or whatever?
Yeah.
I think the first area, if you kept a certain like door shut in the main area, you could loop them around in that little forest for a long time.
Yeah, so if I remember right, there's like a little hill that comes up, and there's a main area, like a grassy area, and in there you could loop them around.
And if you kept the door shut to
and
inside of,
there was another area too where it went down into like a cave system or something, and there was the airplane wreckage. That one was also viable to hang out in.
Yeah, they had like 3 main areas like outside. They had like the plain that you could run around, and they had like a little lake, not a lake, but like a little swampy-ish area down below that. But I liked that. That map was nice. I didn't hate it, but yeah. So that's why I think that Call of Duty Zombies, specifically Black Ops 1, is the best.
Just Black Ops 1 Kino. Okay, so
Black Ops 1 Kino.
So you've talked about that. What would be your second favorite map then?
So probably what I played most recently.
Okay.
So
I was going to say Kino is everybody's.
Yeah. It would be Cold War and probably the one we were just talking about.
Okay.
The Nocturne. Yeah.
Okay. Paul.
That's fair.
Aside from, because you mentioned your first favorite was Call of the Dead.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's a close second for you?
I think a close second. I don't think it was very popular, but I enjoyed it. It was the Alcatraz map.
Oh.
Yeah. Mob of the Dead.
Mob of the Dead.
I just loved the scenery and just how they decided to do all that. Like, I just think Alcatraz is a neat place. And I was like, if there's zombies anywhere, it would probably be there.
Yeah,
no, it was good.
Yeah, no, it was cool themed. Yeah, and now you're reminding me. I don't know why that reminded me of the Pentagon. I thought that was
5.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, what about you, Alex? If Call of the Dead is your first favorite, what would be your second?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Transit.
No,
I'm just kidding. I couldn't hold that for very long.
And that's all we have this week.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
I pulled up a map or
5?
Yeah. List. 5, yeah.
Love that one.
Moon, I think is probably my second.
No, was cool. Moon was terrifying.
Just going to the fucking moon.
Moon was great. So I think I liked Moon because I think Call of Duty Black Ops 1, right? They had the most. Was Moon Black Ops 2?
I think Moon was Black Ops 2, yeah. Because to do that Easter egg, didn't you have to do all the other Easter eggs? Maybe I'm wrong.
Remember.
I think it was 2.
I think it was.
It wasn't 3.
No, then it was 2.
Talk about it. I'll look it up. I need to know.
Yeah, so Moon I really liked because it threw in so many new things that were good. Okay, I think that was the first time you got Mule Kick. So you could have 3 weapons instead of just 2. And that was good.
No, best perk is PhD Flopper. You cannot change my mind.
So I only like that because I would use the scavenger on Call of the Dead, and because you shoot it and it does a pew, it saves you from the explosive damage.
Right.
So scavenger with PhD Flopper was my run there. But it introduced. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I looked it up. It was Black Ops 1, but they redid it for Black Ops 3 as well.
Yes, they did redo it for Black Ops 3. So it was Black Ops 1. So Black Ops 1, I think they had some of the best maps.
Right.
Call of the Dead was there. Moon was there. So Moon was probably my second favorite. They also did like the zero gravity where the zombies were like, when you would shoot them, they kind of like fly through slow-mo.
Yeah, and like when they died, they just floated everywhere.
Yeah.
But exactly. I will say, it terrified me and I hated it the first time I did it, simply because the astronauts. Because if you remember, they showed up with people on your friends list name.
Yes, I do remember that.
I forgot that. Yeah, that was a nice touch. And that's what I'm saying. Black Ops 1 had the best, and they could have stopped at Kino, but they didn't.
I thought Kino was one of the first ones.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Probably have like hundreds of hours on that map.
I mean, no, that's fair. It's a good map.
Yeah, because you would come back to school and be like, oh, I got to round 34 on Kino. You'd be like, no, you're a liar. And we're like, no, my friends that go to a different school.
They're from Canada. You wouldn't know.
They're from Canada. You wouldn't know.
From Canada. You wouldn't know. And I thought that was fun.
Julio and I would go round for round. So we would all play together and we'd try to get as far as we could. And then when all of us couldn't get together, Julio and I would play solo. And we would just send pictures back and forth to each other of our new high round score. And I think I got to round 33 on Kino. And he was like, what? How'd you do that? And it's not that impressive, right? Because there are people that get much higher rounds than that. But yeah, I remember that little competition you would have with your friends. And they had like a leaderboard too, so you could see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but I think that ended up getting hacked and people were just putting up random shit up there. So
hey, but in 2010, you were the coolest guy, you know?
I was.
Well, not you, but if you
got dang, there goes my ego.
Yeah,
fair enough.
All right. I am done talking about Call of Duty Zombies.
Yeah, what is your favorite then, Alex?
Oh man.
Zombies game, rather.
Okay. I have a huge tangent here.
Let's go.
Because as you guys know, I love horror games and the scary games. But I also really like just kind of sitting back, turning off the brain, and going through a shooter as well. So going through Call of Duty Zombies, right, where I don't have to put much thought or effort into it. I can just kind of turn off the brain, relax, and play. So the first one on my list is a game that Paul and I played together. Dead Island, if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah. So Dead Island, basically, if I remember right, there was like some kind of party on the island that you and some friends attended, and then a zombie apocalypse breaks out while you're on the island, and it's you and 3 other survivors, and you get to choose who you're going to survive as. And you go through, and all you have is what's on this island. I don't even remember if they put guns into the game. I remember it being a lot of like hand-to-hand combat, and you could build weapons too. So this was one of the first that I remember where you could, put together things and build weapons.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, speaking on guns, like, didn't who you play as have like, they all had their own like abilities and specials? Because I think one of them had a special where they pulled out a gun.
I think so. That sounds vaguely familiar.
It was like a revolver or something.
Because this was 2011.
Yeah.
I do believe they all had their, because it was also an RPG style where you, I'm pretty sure it was RPG style where you had like skills that you got, and everybody had different trees. Because I remember one girl, I just pulled it up here, Xian Mei. And she had like these high heels that she ran around in, and she would do something with it where she like stomped them in the face with the heel.
Unrealistic standards.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. You remember that song "Hoodoo You Voodoo"?
Yes.
Yeah.
That still pops into my head every once in a while, actually.
So they did Dead Island 1.
Mhm.
Then they did Dead Island Riptide, which I think kind of flopped. I didn't play very much of it, but I don't think it was very well received. This was probably around the time where zombies were played out.
Yeah, speaking about that, they had like 2 to 3 years and they came out with it. Like everybody and their mom wanted a zombie game.
Yeah. And this was right around that Black Ops time where Black Ops was highly successful with their zombies. And everybody was doing a zombies, right?
And talking about tangents, it's not even in video games, like in media too. Like all the zombie shows, World War Z was becoming a movie, The Walking Dead was blowing up. I think you had like the weird flick Warm Bodies, like a cult classic that was about like a zombie. Like you had a whole bunch of stuff. Like zombies were so hot during that time.
Yep.
And I think most people are zombie fatigued now, but
now it's starting to chill out a little bit, and I think it's coming back because you just had Dying Light 2 that came out not that long ago. You had Back 4 Blood, which was the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead, because it was the same Turtle Rock studio. It was the exact same game with, some quality of life improvements, some interesting gimmicks, but it was for the most part the same game, just different. I don't think they could make a new Left 4 Dead because I think the rights were given off to Steam. I think was their publisher.
Yeah.
Valve.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you. Valve was, I think, their publisher. And so Back 4 Blood, the spiritual successor. But around this time, everyone was zombied out, so I don't think Dead Island Riptide was received very well. Did you know, Paul, Dead Island 2 is coming out?
I did.
February of 2023 is the current release date. And I say that because these things always seem to get pushed back.
I didn't know it was that soon.
Yes. Just a few months now.
Okay.
What? 5 months? So yeah. I'm excited to play that and see how that is. And we'll all play it.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun.
So Dead Island was very, very nostalgic for me because of the memories that I have of us playing. Patrick mentioned it a little bit. The Walking Dead blew up. And then Telltale, a game company that came out of nowhere, made a Walking Dead game. And those blew up. So the Walking Dead series was really good, and it's pretty much what you would expect if you watched the show, or if you haven't. You play as a single character, and the first one you play as this guy Lee, and you're just kind of going through the story, right, as Lee, and you have different choices. And this was one of the first games I can remember that your choices actually mattered somewhat, where there was a point where you could save this person or this person, but you couldn't save them both. And you had to make a choice. It usually came at the end of a chapter because it was broken up. Each game was broken up into like 5 chapters. It usually came at the end, towards the end of a chapter where a big decision like that happened. And then half the group was upset at you because you did that. The other half was happy that you did it. It'd be that you had to kick somebody out, or you had to choose who to save, or you had to choose who to side with. But that was the first game where I remember the choices really feeling like I sat there for a while with the guide menu open, so that, because that was the way that you could pause it. I sat there with that guide menu open for a while thinking, okay, what do I do?
Yeah. And some of the choices were pretty heavy.
Yeah.
honestly.
So I played through every Walking Dead game, every single one that's up to date, current. I think Telltale went through a bit of a crash where they went bankrupt, closed down, laid off all their staff, and then now I think they're slowly coming back because they talked about the new Tales from the Borderlands, which I believe is done by Telltale. They talked about a while ago The Wolf Among Us 2 that was coming out, but I haven't heard any news on that. But yeah.
Yeah, and didn't they make like 5 or 6 of those Telltale Walking Dead games?
So many. I think there were 4 or 5 main season arcs on their own. So there was one, and then there was a second one. I believe there was like New Frontier and then the final chapter. So maybe there were 4, maybe 5. Okay. I might be missing one. And then there was the mini series where each chapter you played as a brand new character. There was the Michonne, I think is her name, spinoff where you played as her. So yeah, they did a lot. They really capitalized on that. And I mean, that's what blew this company up.
Mm-hmm.
So The Walking Dead is another one. And then the last one that's really nostalgic to me, I don't know if you guys ever played it, but Dead Rising.
Yeah.
So
it was the one in the mall, right? And stuff?
Yeah. The first one was in the mall. I don't remember. I think the second one you were playing as like this motocross guy. And I don't think it was in the mall. I vaguely remember playing
Vegas, wasn't it?
I think
for
it
the
might
second
be Vegas.
Capcom, right?
It's Capcom.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No. I never played it. I'm familiar with it, though.
Yeah, they were really good. So this was another game where craftable, everything was a weapon. You could pick up a bucket and you could beat a zombie to death with a bucket. So it was just hilarious. Or you could pick up like a Lego Man mask and you could shove it on top of a zombie's head and he was blinded while stumbling around. So it was really cool. Anything was a weapon in that game. And that's what made it really cool. Dead Rising 1 was interesting in the fact that so in each one, you're like saving people and trying to help other people too. There's different story arcs that go off there. But in the first one, it almost felt like you were designed to fail because every time you failed and you died, you had like 72 hours. Every time you failed and died or didn't make it to the plane in time, it was game over. But you could restart the game with your same stats. So when you leveled up and got different upgrades and unlocks and all of that, you would basically play New Game Plus with all of that. So it felt almost like it was a game that you were designed to die again and again and again until you were good enough to get through the end of the game.
Would you call that a death loop?
I would call that a death loop. We've made it full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle.
A loop, if you will.
Dead Rising 3, I think Dead Rising 3 was my favorite. That was the first game I played on the Xbox One when it came out. And it was fun. You were just dropped off in you were in like a much larger city or town. And there was just so much more to explore. You could actually drive a car, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, and you could make vehicles too, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think you could like upgrade the vehicles and like do different things with it.
There's something with like a shopping cart, wasn't there?
I think so. That sounds kind of familiar. But they would do the most ridiculous things. Like if you had a shopping cart, you could combine it with fireworks and you could make like this missile launching rocket cart that you set up, launch the fireworks, and it would just shoot a straight line. Like they would do ridiculous things like that. And that's what I really liked about the Dead Rising series was it wasn't a serious zombie game. It was very much like there's a good story. It's good to play. It's fun. You don't feel like it's thrown together, but it's also like really quirky and fun and still lighthearted in the midst of a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I hadn't played them much. I think 3 was the only one I played, but I always just got that feel of go nuts.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah, they left realism at the door, which is fun because I think a lot of other zombie games were like, "You're really trying to survive out here," and it's like, no, here you go. You throw like a Lego head on a shopping cart and see what happens, or take your camera and whip it around and hit the zombie in the head with it, and you can get, I mean, much different flavor, right? A lot more fun-loving, less serious, and the game didn't take itself seriously, which was nice.
But it's also serious in a way because in a zombie apocalypse, yeah, you could pick up a cone and beat the fucking zombie to death.
Absolutely.
So it's still serious.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. I'm not sure that would be my first weapon of choice, but I guess if that's all you have.
That's all you have. And weapons actually broke in the game too. So you couldn't just get your favorite weapon and continuously repair it. It would break and you would have to find the parts to make a new one, or you'd have to find a new one. And so it kind of forced you to... You can't just get the best weapon and go around for the rest of the game because it's going to break.
Right. And honestly, I think that specifically right there is actually why I enjoyed my favorite zombie game so much, Left 4 Dead.
I knew you were going to say that.
I know, it's not much of a surprise.
I knew you were going to say that, and I know why.
Oh, okay, then go ahead, please.
No, go ahead, tell the story, Nomi.
Okay, so a garden gnome does indeed have to do with why I love it so much. So this was way back in the day at this point when we had really just started playing games together, Alex and I.
Yeah, a little more backstory on that. Paul and I knew each other 4 years prior to this, but he transferred to a different school. We fell out of touch, and I just so happened to walk into my first class of my senior year of high school, and who do I see roll in? It's Paul. And Paul had just transferred from a completely different school. Right. So the odds of all of this happening and the universe lining up this way was interesting. Paul was talking about how he was on Xbox and he was playing games. And I convinced my parents. I said, hey, my friends are playing games without me. I need this Xbox Live thing. And you guys can watch Netflix on it too. That's how I sold them. Right. Because Netflix had an app on there. And this is before the smart TVs and the dongles and the plugins. So this is what sold them. They bought the full year subscription. I got all of the Xbox Live. And they bought me 2 games. 2 games, because I stole World at War from my neighbor. So they bought me Modern Warfare 2, which Paul and I played, and they bought me Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2?
Left 4 Dead, probably the first one.
I don't remember. I think it might have been Left 4 Dead, the first one.
Yeah,
but
I think Left 4 Dead 2 is the one that I played.
But go ahead, Paul.
So, as I was saying, it started with a garden gnome. So in that game, I'll just do a very quick rundown. In that game, you were literally just a group of strangers, and you're trying to get from point A to point B. But while you can use guns, ammo could be hard to find unless you were using a pistol. So you literally just had to use what you had. It was things like bats, crowbars, stuff like that. It actually screamed realism to me. That is until the gnome. So there is a amusement park level in that game. As Alex, you've already stated, you are obsessed with achievements. Well, I also happen to get obsessed with achievements. So in this game, on that level, you can play a carnival game. You know, I don't know if it was like shooting the balloons or like that hammer with the bell at the top. But anyway, if you won, you got a garden. And there was Noam Chomsky, yes. And there was an achievement for taking that gnome all the way to the end of the level and extracting with it. Now, what's important to note, whoever is holding the gnome cannot really attack. You can like swing with it, but I mean, it's a garden gnome. It doesn't really do anything. So everybody else had to protect you. I carried this gnome with me for so long. He became part of me. He had to live. Okay, you don't understand. He had to make it. We get to the end. There's this giant firefight, right? Helicopter comes down. I'm running. The zombies are swarming. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to make it. This gnome has to make it. I literally, like, get on the chopper, realize I forgot the gnome.
He dropped it somehow. He somehow, like, got hit. I think he got hit, went down, and I had to revive him. And I said, Paul, we're not going to make it. Leave the gnome. And we get to the chopper. And Paul just, I hear in my headset, no!
So there wasn't a Saving Private Ryan sequence where you rush back in to go?
No.
Oh, there was.
Well, I think we replayed it to get him.
Oh, sure. But
because that run was not it.
So that run, you carried the gnome basically the whole level.
And then let him die.
And then you put him down so he could watch you leave.
Why are you pointing at me?
Well,
why are you pointing at me? Don't fucking point at me. Point at Paul. Point at the computer screen.
I'm pointing at the screen, Paul. Yeah, so you let him die. That's a fate worse than just not getting him at all. It's taking him all the way there and making him watch you leave and be like, this could have been you.
No, because I wanted to sacrifice my life for the gnome.
But what you ended up doing was just extracting and leaving him there, right?
So I pulled it up here. It's from Left 4 Dead 2. Okay. And he can be picked up by scoring over 750 points in the shooting gallery minigame at the fairgrounds in the Dark Carnival campaign. And he has to be taken all the way to the rescue vehicle in the concert to unlock the garden. Oh, wow. Spelled like Gaurdin. Like you're guarding him. Garden.
No.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, you pick him up in like the first episode, and the whole like Dark Carnival campaign is broken up into 4 or 5 episodes, and you have to make it to the safe house, and then it's the loading screen next episode,
right?
And you had to pick him up again, and then take him to the next safe house.
Oh,
loading screen next episode, and you had to do that. I think you got him in the first one, and you had to take him all the way to the end. So yeah, it was a mission. This was before I was an achievement whore. Right. This is what got me into the achievement whore. Because Paul was an achievement whore. And he's like, I have more gamer score than you. I have 30,000. Look at me. And I was like, okay.
In this economy?
Bet. I think it took me 6 months to pass him. And then it just kept going.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So...
But yes, that is why Left 4 Dead is my favorite zombie game. Because of the garden one.
There was also a year where Paul brought his Xbox over to my house. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and that was the day that we deemed that it was the gamers' Thanksgiving, where all the gamer friends would get together and they would eat the leftovers from the real family's Thanksgiving.
So it was the Friday, right?
Yeah, so it was on Friday. Gamesgiving. And Paul came over to my house.
Thanksgiving.
We pulled a second TV into... How did we do it? I think we pulled a second TV into the bedroom. Paul hooked up his Xbox. I hooked up my Xbox. So we had a little LAN party. And we played Left 4 Dead 2. Probably all day.
Yeah.
And Left 4 Dead 2 was where they did a multiplayer where there was a team of zombies and a team of the survivors.
Yep.
So...
It was not good. But we played it a lot.
We did. I knew you were going to say that, Paul.
Yeah, honestly, that's just my favorite zombie game.
Listen, the multiplayer for Left 4 Dead 2 was good because you could be like the bomber or like the big fat guy or what was the thing that could like just jump out of nowhere and choke you?
Yeah,
wasn't it the leaper
or the leaper? Maybe there was one that could like hide up in a corner and like spit its tongue at you and grab you up.
Right.
And then there was the witch.
The witch.
Oh yeah. Or she would she'd be really quiet in a corner crying. Oh. And if you disturbed her or got her attention, she would scream. And one of the reasons that you wanted to like be careful of what you were shooting and what you were doing was because noise would attract zombies. So if she screamed, she brought in, not only did you have to fight her, but she brought in a horde of zombies too. So, yeah.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's my favorite zombies game.
All good games.
All great games, honestly. I can honestly say I played them all.
You know, Alex, I thought really you're gonna say, you know, you guys know me. I'm an achievement hunter. And this isn't a traditional zombie game, but skeletons and zombies are pretty similar, right? And it's not the whole game, but it's just a part of the game. And I thought this was going to be an elaborate ruse for Kingdom Hearts.
Wait, what?
The Nightmare Before Christmas Land? And that's your favorite zombie game? Yeah, that's what I thought was happening here.
Nope. So, but yeah, that's good. Good zombie games, guys.
Yeah, those are some good ones and a sea of bad ones. Some of the ones we've played, World War Z, that was not good.
It was literally Left 4 Dead, but
bad. Back 4 Blood, I think we played a little bit of it. Spiritual Successor didn't hold up. Plants vs. Zombies.
Back to development.
Right. Back to development. Plants vs. Zombies, I think was pretty good. Never played it though. I think Alex did. We didn't even touch Resident Evil, and I know Alex, you played quite a few of them.
Pretty much all of them.
Red Dead Redemption original, the Zombies DLC, that was a lot lot of fun.
Undead Nightmare, right? Yeah.
Undead Nightmare. Yeah, and you're like the dead horses too. H1N1, I think that was pretty good.
I never played that.
No, so it was like an open world sort of like you scavenge gear, and H1N1 is a virus that turned people into zombies, but it's more of like a survival sort of thing than it is really like a zombie game, but still same premise, end of the world sort of stuff. But
Dying Light I mentioned a little bit. Dying Light was cool because it had a parkour, and Dying Light was one of the first ones where, one of the only ones I remember, Dead Rising did it too, but you actually had to be careful of the humans as well. It wasn't just the zombies were the enemies. The zombies were fine. That was easy enough. It was, there are also humans that are, corrupt out there as well.
Right. And this is before we even touched The Last of Us too, right?
I never played Last of Us.
I never played it either. So
I think Paul did.
I did. That one. No, The Last of Us was good, but no, it's not going to dethrone Nomi for me.
Nomi?
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's not about the games. It's about the memories you make with the friends along the way.
No one knows me like Nomi knows me.
That's true. He's seen things.
He's seen things. More like you leaving his ass.
He's seen you
and just like how you abandoned Nomi, I'm going to abandon you. This has been a good wrap-up, catch-up. Happy to hear that, our favorite zombie games are actually good. Mine was the best, but I will take yours under advisement.
Debatable.
It's not debatable.
And now, if you excuse us, Patrick and I are going to go play Call of Duty Zombies.
All right. Well, you guys have some fun, and I'll talk to you next week.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right.
Or not. Ooh.